Today, we're getting into something intriguing: how to use your shadow to achieve anything you want. Let's start with a simple truth: we all have a shadow side. It's the part of us we often ignore, suppress, or deny. It holds our fears, insecurities, and the traits we don't like about ourselves. But what if I told you that your shadow isn't your enemy? Instead, it can be your greatest ally. When you learn to work with it rather than against it, you can unlock incredible potential and attract what you truly desire. Think about it. How often do we try to avoid discomfort or pretend that our flaws don't exist? Maybe we brush off anger, jealousy, or self-doubt, labeling them as bad emotions. But every time we push these feelings down, we're also burying the energy and lessons they carry. The shadow isn't there to harm you, it's there to teach you. It's like a buried treasure that's waiting to be uncovered. To use your shadow effectively, the first step is acknowledgement. This means being honest with yourself about what you're feeling and why. For example, if you feel envious of someone else's success, don't just dismiss it. Sit with that feeling for a moment. What is it telling you? Maybe it's highlighting something you desire for yourself but haven't pursued yet. Or perhaps it's showing you an area where you feel insecure and need to build confidence. By facing these emotions instead of running from them, you begin to integrate your shadow. Integration is key here. It doesn't mean you become consumed by your shadow, but you allow it to coexist with the rest of who you are. Picture it as balancing light and dark. When you bring those hidden parts into the light, they lose their power to control you from the background. Instead, they become a source of strength and clarity. Here's where things get exciting: your shadow holds immense creative energy. Think of all the times you felt frustrated or stuck. That energy, though uncomfortable, can be channeled into creating something meaningful. Let's say you're feeling angry about a situation. Instead of letting it fester, you can use that energy to fuel action, whether it's setting boundaries, starting a new project, or pursuing a goal you've been putting off. Another important aspect of shadow work is self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on ourselves when we confront the parts we don't like. But remember, your shadow is part of being human. Everyone has one. The more you practice kindness toward yourself, the easier it becomes to think of all aspects of who you are. This acceptance creates a sense of wholeness, which is a powerful state for manifesting your desires. Now, let's talk about how this connects to achieving what you want. When you integrate your shadow, you free up mental and emotional energy that was previously tied up in avoidance or denial. This newfound energy can be directed toward your goals. For example, if you've been afraid to take risks because of a fear of failure, acknowledging that fear allows you to move through it. Instead of being paralyzed by what-ifs, you can take bold steps toward what you want. Here's a practical exercise to try. Take a moment to reflect on a goal or dream you've been struggling to achieve. Ask yourself, what's holding me back? Write down whatever comes to mind, even if it feels uncomfortable. Then, look at those responses and identify any patterns. Are there fears or beliefs that stem from your shadow? Once you pinpoint them, think about how you can work with those feelings rather than against them. For instance, if you fear rejection, you might remind yourself that every successful person has faced rejection and learned from it. Another powerful tool is visualization. When you imagine yourself achieving your goals, include your shadow in the picture. See yourself as a whole, integrated being, using both your strengths and your lessons from the shadow. This kind of visualization helps you approach your desires with authenticity, which is magnetic. One of the most fascinating things about shadow work is how it deepens your relationships, not just with others but also with yourself. When you understand and accept your shadow, you become more empathetic toward other people. You recognize that everyone has struggles and hidden parts, and this understanding fosters connection and compassion. It's also important to note that shadow work is an ongoing process. You don't just confront your shadow once and call it a day. Life will always present new challenges, and with them, new opportunities to explore your depths. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to use your shadow as a tool for growth and manifestation. Let's address a common misconception: working with your shadow doesn't mean you have to dwell on negativity. In fact, it's the opposite. By acknowledging and integrating the darker parts of yourself, you create more room for positivity and fulfillment. Think of it like cleaning out a closet. Once you clear the clutter, there's space for things that truly matter. Moving forward, one of the most profound benefits of understanding and working with your shadow is how it shifts your perception of obstacles. Instead of viewing challenges as setbacks, you start to recognize them as neutral events, shaped largely by how you interpret them. This shift in mindset allows you to act with clarity and focus. For instance, if a project you're working on doesn't yield the desired results, your shadow might initially provoke feelings of inadequacy or frustration. But when you've established a dialogue with this part of yourself, you can quickly move past reactive emotions and assess the situation with objectivity. You can ask, what can I learn from this? What adjustments can I make, and pivot without feeling paralyzed by self-doubt? Additionally, your shadow often holds untapped skills and traits that can be developed into strengths. Many of the characteristics we suppress, like assertiveness, ambition, or even boldness, are necessary for success. By re-examining these traits and reframing how you view them, you can reclaim them in a way that serves your growth. Imagine, for example, someone who suppresses their assertiveness because they've been taught it's too aggressive. This person might miss out on opportunities where speaking up could make a difference. By reclaiming assertiveness, they're not becoming aggressive but instead learning to stand confidently in their truth. Another crucial aspect of working with the shadow is how it impacts your ability to set boundaries. Often, our inability to say no stems from fears of rejection or conflict, emotions deeply rooted in the shadow. However, once you've acknowledged and understood these fears, setting boundaries becomes an act of self-respect rather than a source of anxiety. This newfound ability to assert yourself not only protects your energy but also clarifies your priorities, allowing you to focus on what truly matters in your life. It's also worth noting that working with your shadow encourages emotional resilience. Life is unpredictable, and everyone encounters moments of disappointment or uncertainty. However, those who have thought of their shadow often have a deeper well of emotional resources to draw from. They understand that discomfort is temporary and that within every difficult moment lies the potential for growth. This resilience fosters a sense of inner stability, making it easier to stay aligned with your goals even when the path gets rocky. As you continue this journey, you'll notice a shift in how you approach life. Instead of fearing challenges or setbacks, you'll start to see them as opportunities to grow and align more deeply with your true self. This perspective is incredibly empowering because it puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. Ultimately, using your shadow to get what you want isn't about becoming someone else, it's about becoming more of who you already are. It's about thinking in your full humanity and using every part of yourself to create a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. So, start small. Begin with curiosity and honesty. Explore the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, and see what they have to teach you. Over time, you'll find that your shadow isn't something to fear but a source of wisdom and power. And with that power, there's no limit to what you can achieve. As you move forward, ask yourself, what aspects of my shadow have I yet to explore? What hidden lessons or untapped strengths might be waiting for me there? These questions aren't meant to overwhelm but to inspire curiosity and openness. The more you allow yourself to engage with these hidden parts, the clearer your path becomes. The goals you've been striving for start to feel closer, and the obstacles in your way begin to lose their power. Now, I want to invite you to do something simple yet impactful: share this video with someone who might benefit from these insights. There's so much power in spreading ideas that encourage growth and transformation. Also, if you found value here, consider subscribing to this channel. That way, you'll never miss an opportunity to continue learning and growing alongside a supportive audience. Another way to support this message is by liking the video, it's a small action that goes a long way in helping others discover this content. If you've been inspired today, let your voice be heard in the comments. Share your thoughts, your insights, or even a small step you're taking to connect with your shadow. It's amazing what happens when we start conversations like these. And, if you're curious about more ways to connect with the deeper parts of yourself, subscribing ensures you'll always have access to new tools, strategies, and perspectives to support your growth. Let's continue this journey together. Growth doesn't happen in isolation, it thrives in connection. Before you go, hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for more powerful discussions like this one. Your engagement fuels the creation of content that can make a difference in so many lives. Liking the video and sharing it is another wonderful way to keep these ideas circulating and to encourage others to unlock their full potential.